Hello all, my name is Senesi Sano, and today I will be reviewing Chapter 15 from Technical Communications by Mark Markle and Stuart A. Selber. So in Chapter 15, they basically discuss three main things, which are how to apply for a job, how to prepare a resume, and how to perform during an interview. And when they're discussing how to apply for a job, they do a very good job revealing the information. That first, they break down how to search for a job, which is the beginning of the overall job application process. Then they proceed to finish off that section with a call to action, just trying to inform the readers to do their research to understand what these potential employers want from their candidates, as well as informing readers to create a personal brand in order to establish their professional career. In the section when they're discussing resumes, they basically go into a bit of detail about what information to include in your resume, such as your employment history, education, whether or not you want to include references, how to go about a cover page, and so on. And yeah, it was very insightful. All the information was rolled out in a pretty decent order. They covered all the sections of the resume, which I found very helpful as a reader. That reading it in the order it was laid out in the textbook was very beneficial for me, and it just was digestible. So those are small things that readers will always appreciate. And for the last point, when they are talking about interviews, they kind of focus on the importance of preparing for an interview, what questions to ask, just researching common interview questions and practicing until you're just comfortable enough to say it as if you're just in a regular conversation. And they stress the importance of following up after an interview and how that can just make a huge difference and the correct etiquette to go about following up. So, with all these points, the author provides a great amount of explanation and examples in order to support all his points. So that works as a very good strength for the authors, as I see. Anytime a point is presented, it is followed by an explanation, which is then followed by an example, which works really well. For example, when they are focusing on resume building, they provide detailed explanation on how to build the resume, and that's just very impactful for someone who is reading the book, whether it's their first or second or third time, whether they're new in the career search or not. A weakness in this writing, I would say, is a lack of imagery. I believe if they incorporated more pictures and visual examples of what they're trying to describe, that can work very well for certain people, because some people like me, for example, are visual learners, and things just stick more with us and we're able to retain more information regarding a topic when we are able to see a visual representation of it. So that is something that can be improved upon nonetheless. It's definitely a great chapter. I would say the most interesting thing overall would be how to do a job search, because all the many ways there are to look for a job, you kind of forget about how easy it is. I don't want to say easy, but you kind of overlook the amount of ways you can look for a job. Like, it's as simple as asking somebody in your network or somebody on campus, which is, that was very interesting to me because that's something even I've overlooked before. So how did this topic change my perspective? Well, I want to say I did not know the importance of listing the type of degree I was getting at first, whether it was BA, BS, AA, or MS. I kind of just had my major and my concentration listed on my resume. I didn't have that it was a BS. So I guess I could say that changed the perspective I have. I didn't know the importance of that. Now I was able to apply those improvements, and I can say visually my resume looks more appealing, and the education section is more filled out just having that data right there. So Nonetheless, the authors did a great job covering the topic. Everything was broken down and sectioned with explanations first, followed by examples, and that just makes everything you're reading more digestible when the authors immediately go into a detailed explanation, and then they follow it up with examples. So I would say it was covered very well. I like the ending parts when they sum everything up, the wrap ups at the end of the chapter. That always helps information stick, and it kind of refreshes the reader on information they may have forgot at the beginning of the chapter. So it kind of just closes all together at the end, and yeah, it sticks. Um, that goes with the next thing I was gonna say about the fluidity of this chapter. It actually really impressed me compared to other chapters. I could say this one flows really well. Chronological order, just even how to apply for a job, building a resume, and then the interviews. First, you're always gonna have a resume before you get to an interview. So even just the way the chapter is broken down in itself is easily digestible just because of the chronological order. Another thing readers will always appreciate. But everything in this chapter can be applied to my real life. I have a resume that I was now able to, add BS to my resume, and I'm also able to categorize my skills, which divide them amongst my hard skills and my soft skills, and including my languages that I speak in my resume. So all the information I was able to obtain from this chapter can be applied, which just makes it works as evidence, just because evidence is of an impactful chapter, because it impacted me already, and this is my first time reading it. So definitely covered very well. His three main points stuck with me: how to build a resume, how to apply for a job, and how to perform well during an interview. And his purpose was achieved. Their purpose was achieved. And if there was any group I could recommend this chapter to, I would say high schoolers, honestly, just to prepare them for college, just to make them more marketable and competitive as soon as they get into university. Just having a strong resume and being able to perform well at an interview at a young age would just, it would just impress employers. So I would definitely say I would recommend and suggest this book fully to high school students getting ready to graduate. So that's all for today, and I appreciate you all for watching.